because you've made a lot of promises about saving money from waste, from equality, inclusion and diversion and diversity. We've had a question from Alan in Barnard Castle, County Durham, a council you now control. And he said the bins are collected on time, potholes aren't nearly a problem that they are in other counties. What exactly do you object to about equality and diversity and inclusion? What's the problem?
Well, look, so in places like County Durham, there is a lot of disaffection about local government. There was a ward in County Durham where Reform won 65% of the vote share from a standing start.
No one's disputing your success, but what's the objection to that kind of thing that councils do, equality, diversity and inclusion policies?
Well, the objection is very simple. We believe all hiring should be merit-based and colour-blind, and the best person should get the job, regardless of any immutable characteristics or anything else. And DEI is the opposite of that. Look, ultimately, one has to choose between equality of opportunity or equality of outcome. And I keep going back to it. What constituents want, and the evidence for that is the overwhelming landslide victory Reform just won, is they want simple things like bins collected on time, while your viewer is saying there's not an issue there. We've spoken to many people. That's why we won a landslide, who are deeply unsatisfied at the way local government is run.
The question here is that you've said you can save money by cutting waste in this area.
Sure.
And we've checked with some of the councils that you won. Lincolnshire County Council said they don't have any staff doing those kinds of jobs. Staffordshire County Council told us they don't have any staff doing those kinds of jobs.
With respect, Laura.
Let me finish. Nottinghamshire County Council says they employ one person doing that job. And you said throughout this campaign, by cutting that kind of waste, you can save people money on their council tax bills. If there's hardly anybody doing these jobs, you're not going to save any money.
So I spent quite a lot of time actually looking at these freedom of information requests. And what you find when they respond to them is they're very loyally and very precise in their language. It's like getting blood out of a stone. If you take Lincolnshire County Council, yes, they do not currently have somebody with the job title DEI officer. They do spend considerable money on DEI initiatives, and they have other people who have basically that same job but under a different title, partly in response to the fact that they've been inundated by think tanks and activists putting in FOIs. What we are going to do, and this is our commitment to the British people, sure, we don't have a magic wand, but we will cut waste. You can hold us to that. We are going to send teams in, task forces. We'll be opening up applications shortly. We want the brightest and the best. If you've got experience in audit, if you've got experience in fixing potholes, if you're a software engineer, we're going to bring task forces in. We're now going to have access to the contract, access to the numbers, access to payroll, and we're going to make these changes. And once we have done that analysis, we will share it with the British people.
So you'll come back and tell us how much money you think you can save.
Absolutely.
But at the moment, you don't know.